Well, I'll start with LivLofts because it was actually the first project that we worked on in terms of the mixed-use residential in Don Mills, and it was an existing building that is known as 75 the Don Way. Most people disliked it. It was the tallest building that existed at the time in Don Mills precinct, and it was this kind of early 1970s precast, kind of brutalist, concrete kind of bunker. And also as architects, you know, this idea of reusing and reclaiming existing buildings as opposed to just demolishing for no other reason is important as well. So I think as it kind of adds on to the story of Don Mills, it's a kind of really great kind of component of it in terms of the kind of sustainable approach, as well as kind of looking at something that maybe was an ugly duckling that you could kind of turn into something pretty amazing. But for us to kind of start seeing how some of these residential spaces, it could actually kind of transform this building and see how these units can actually be wonderful places to live. I mean, a loft is something that you wouldn't normally find in the suburbs, so the idea of this kind of living is something that I think is going to be really exciting, and see the people actually that buy into this ethos of living here and kind of how that'll affect the kind of shops at Don Mills, and kind of start seeing a kind of a whole other layer of transformation of the community. 75, the Don Way, as a kind of office building, now turning into a residential loft building, 10-foot ceilings, these great windows, unbelievable views, because you can imagine that the neighborhood adjacent is all this kind of low-lying kind of blanket of trees with these really cool 60s and 70s houses, and that you can actually overlook that and have these great views towards the city, towards the kind of west, and have these wonderful opportunities for living. One of the kind of elements that we think is important is really looking at the building and seeing it as a community of people. Like, you just imagine that it's really like a little mini neighborhood in itself, and how we hope that the program that we kind of rolled into the building can actually help create that kind of sense of community.